Okay, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most foundational rituals in all of Christianity, baptism. It's a practice that is ancient, it's deeply personal, and man, has it been debated for centuries.
But when you get right down to it, what is it? A drop of water? A new beginning? But is it just a ceremony, or is there something way more profound going on here? That's the big question we're going to unpack.
At its absolute core, baptism is a sacred welcome. Think of it like an initiation. It's this powerful, formal way of saying, hey, I'm joining this community of faith. It's that official moment when a person is brought into the family, so to speak.
So let's break that down. Baptism is really doing two big things at once. On one hand, it's a public declaration, right? It's a way for someone to stand up and announce their faith to the world. But it's also the key that unlocks the door to the church community. It's both for you and for us, deeply personal and fundamentally communal.
Okay, but where did this whole practice even come from? Well, this wasn't some tradition that just popped up centuries later. No way. Its roots are planted firmly in the New Testament. It goes right back to the very, very beginning of the Christian faith.
And here it is. This verse is famously called the Great Commission. It's basically the final instructions Jesus gave to his followers. And it's pretty clear. It positions baptism not as some optional extra, but as a central part of the whole mission. This is the original mandate. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The Apostle Paul comes along and adds this incredibly rich layer of meaning. He connects baptism directly to the death and resurrection of Jesus. Think about it. Going under the water symbolizes being buried with Christ, and then coming back up, well, that symbolizes rising to a completely new life. It's this really powerful physical picture of a spiritual transformation. So even though the command and the core meaning were there from the start, the way baptism has been practiced, well, that's a whole different story. It has changed and evolved a lot over the last 2,000 years. And this timeline gives us a great little snapshot of that journey. Early on, the church was all about full immersion to really drive home that symbolism of death and rebirth. But you fast forward to today and you see this incredible diversity. You've got infant baptism, adult baptism, sprinkling, pouring, you name it. The practice really does vary widely depending on the denomination. And all that diversity in practice, it really points to a much deeper question, which is the absolute heart of the matter. What does baptism actually do? This is where we get into the core theological debates. Now, to understand one side of this debate, we've got to get this word sacrament. A sacrament isn't just a symbolic gesture. It's believed to be a physical act where real spiritual grace is actually given by God. It's like a meeting point between the physical world and the divine. And this perfectly lays out the two major viewpoints. On one side, you have traditions like Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy, which see baptism as a sacrament. It's a transformative moment where God is the primary actor, directly imparting grace. On the other side, you've got many Protestant traditions, like Baptists and evangelicals. They see it as a symbol, an outward expression of an inward faith that's already there. In this view, the individual is the primary actor. And believe me, this isn't just a philosophical difference. It changes everything, from when someone gets baptized to what the community believes is happening in that moment. But here's the thing. Regardless of which theological camp you happen to be in, one thing is universally true. Baptism plays a vital, unifying role for the entire church community. So why does it matter so much? Well, it's the public starting line. It's that moment you profess your faith for everyone to see. It's the formal handshake that says welcome and makes you a member. It signifies this whole new identity you have. And for many, many denominations, it's not just a good idea. It's the required first step to becoming a full member of the community. And that brings us right back to the central, really profound question. Is baptism a divine act that changes the soul, or is it a human declaration announcing a change that's already been made? The fact that this debate is still going on is exactly what continues to make this ancient ritual so powerful and so meaningful today.